Hi everyone, welcome to How to VLN channel. In this exercise, we are going to see how to set up an Oracle standby database. Again, welcome to How to VLN channel, and this is DBA VLN string. Let's get started. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty lengthy exercise. We have close to 15 steps. So I'll just walk you through the steps at high level and then we'll go detail and do the lab. So this is about setting up an Oracle standby database, and our candidates are the database unique name I have given here. The primary DB name will be GGSRC04T and the standby name is GGSRC04T SB1. So as a first step, you need to ensure your primary DB is using SP file. I mean, it's not mandatory, but it's better to keep it because we will make a lot of dynamic parameter changes. So and then password file, it's absolutely mandatory. Okay, you need to ensure you have both of them. You need to ensure your primary DB is in forcelogging mode and also in archelog mode. So, and archelog mode, yeah. So, but at this stage, just verify if it is in forcelogging or not, otherwise enable it. And then you add necessary standby redologs to the primary using the formula G plus 1 start T, which is 3T is the number of threads, G is the number of redolog groups. So this is the command. And then you need to set up some parameters at the primary DB. For instance, you have to back up the pfile as a first step before you make any change to the SP file. So we back it up, and then you set up the DB unique name, log archive, config, log archive dist1 and dist2, and remote login password file. Yeah, and then file server and stand builder file management. So all this parameter you need to set it, and you need to restart the DB. At this stage, you can verify whether the database is in archelog mode or not. If not, you enable it, and you need to ensure you have a oratab entry for the standby database, and you need to ensure the p file is copied to the not the p file, password file from the primary is copied to the standby. You see here the naming convention: orapw or dollar oracle sid, orapw dollar oracle sid sb1. And then you need to nomount the standby database with only two parameters. And just for your kind notice, in this exercise we will be using the same server for the primary and standby. And you need to ensure the destinations, the actual file system destinations for audit file directory and control files are created in the standby server, which is again same here in our case. And we will set the paths according to these values. Okay. Add TNS entry for primary and standby. In my case, primary and standby are in the same server. So here, it's in my case both are in the same server. So you see the host names are matching. Right. So we need to be very careful when it comes to setting up the standby in the same server as primary, because you may end up overwriting the primary database files. So the next one is you need to add a static entry for the primary and standby to facilitate active DB duplication. We are going to use active DB duplication method in order to set up the standby database, and you will verify whether you are able to connect to the primary and standby database using sysuser. Alright, and perform the active DB duplication and using this shell script. Once this is done, you are all set, and you will be able to put the database in recovery mode. So as such, you prepare the primary, you prepare the standby, and you shoot for the standby setup. That's all at a high level. So let's get started. Let's go into the steps in detail. Alright. Okay. Let's go with the first step, which is to verify whether the database is using SP file or not. So again, before we start, as usual, let's verify our environmental variables. So SID is this is the base, and this is the home. I'll just verify if I am using SP file and password file already or not. Yeah, I'm using SP file. And do I have a password file? I do. Okay. So this step is completed. This content will be available in a blog as well. So just be aware. Alright, next we need to ensure the database is in force logging mode. I think this database is already in force logging mode because I prepared this database for code and gate. So alright, let me see. It is in force logging mode already. Whether it's in archelog mode or not, let's verify that. Yeah, it's in archelog mode. And force logging is also yes. So this step is also fine, looking okay. Add Stanby Redolog to the primary using the formula. Okay, that's our next step. Let's verify how many Redologs we have. We have 3 Redologs. And let me see if I have any Stanby Redologs already there. No. Okay, fine. Let's add it. Let me check the member path. We need to add it in the same format, okay? So let's add it. SBY redo. It's we had until 3, so I'm adding it from 4. And size of the redo log, it's 200 MB, so we'll add it as 200 MB only. So we need to add 4. You remember this G plus 1, and there is only one thread, so you can check that count. See, only one thread, okay. Let's add it. It's gonna be a bit lengthy blog, guys, so stay with me. Alright, now let's verify the Stanby log. Alright, so they're all created. Fine, let's go ahead with the next step. Set up the init parameters, right? So let's create the pfile first. See if this path, let me see if this path really exists or not. Yeah, it does. So creating a pfile before modification. I'm sure my database unique name is already set. It is set, but I'll just set it one more time, no harm. So I'm setting the log archive db nickname log archive config log archive dest1. This is for the primary server, and the next parameter is for standby. So we create one archlog copy in the primary site, and the other copy will go to the standby site. Most of the time this will be exclusive only, remote login password file. I'm just setting it to the standards we need. Right, so standby file management set to auto. Now I missed one step here. I need to create one pfile after the modification. Primar, and this is postmod, right? And let's see how does it differ, both these values. You see here, db unique name parameter is added after the modification, which means that this parameter did not exist by default in the past, so I added it. False server is added. Log archive dest1 was set to this value, but now it was set to this value. All these parameters are, this one parameter is modified, others were added, and this is again added. So more or less all the parameters needs to be set, guys. So I have the database already in archlog mode, so I'm just gonna shut it down and start it again. Okay, so let me preserve this output. Otherwise, by mistake, if I close the screen, I will lose these values. My putty log will not look good, so I'll go ahead and start it again, because I don't need to put the database in mount and then open, since I have it already in my database is already in archlog mode, so I don't need to verify it again. Just bear with me. Alright, so this is done. Alright, this looks good. We restarted the DB, and all the settings are forcelogging is on and archlog mode is on. So this is looking good. Now we are in step 6. We need to make oratab entry for the standby DB. So until now, whatever we did it for primary. Now we need to make it for the standby. So let's back up here. Oratab premod. Alright, so let's do that. I execute a backup. Right, so let's see how many entries are there for GG4S C040. Yeah, we have necessary entries now. We edited it. Now we need to copy the p file. Sorry, password file. Let's copy this over. Oh, how come? We just saw it was there. PW. We saw it in the beginning. Yes, it was there. Did I make a mistake? It is there. So what mistake I made? Yes, this was a mistake. I put it in DBS directory. I should have put. I put directly under Oracle Home. Probably I need to recreate my password because I don't remember my password. Anyway, I'll check it again. So now I need to nomount the standby DB with only 2 parameters. So I need to create a pfile for this first. dbs init. Yes, ggsrc04tsb1.ora. Alright, I created the p file. Let me just change. Okay, probably let's not create confusion here. Let's create another environment for this. Okay, let me change the color of this. I'll keep it in yellow color for standby. So this is standby environment, guys. So ggsrc04tsb1. Okay, so let me start it up in nomount. So the DB is up. We need to add a TNS entry for both primary and standby now. It's the same TNS entry file, so wherever you add it, it's still okay. Ashisha, before we make any change, we back it up. I already have the TNS entry for ggsrc04t, so I'm not going to make one more entry. I'm just going to create this entry for it. Probably I'll create one entry for the listener as well. Reason is, you will see at the end, this entry is not there. It may stop our database from coming up when we clone it. So I made the entry. So let's check this one out. Primary entry is already there. So add a static entry for the primary and standby to facilitate DB duplication. So we have the listener here. Alright, let's make the entry. You don't need to make any changes. Here we don't have the previous entry for primary, so anyway we need to add both. Alright, the entries are made. Let me show you how my entry looks. This looks clean. The next one is validating the connection. Let me pass here for a minute. Okay, so I had to start the listener because it was down. So I started the listener, and you can see now the services are being listened to. Let's get ourselves into action. Let's test the connection. So what the next step is, we need to verify the connection passwords, right? So we need to be able to connect now. This. This one connects fine. Right, this one also connects fine. So we are connected to both primary and standby. Now let's go on to the next step. Perform the active database duplication to create the standby using rman scripts. Okay, this one I already placed the script here. You can see I have the script ready. The script is ready. Fine. Allocate channel primary. This is to allocate the channel for the primary database, and this is to allocate the channel to the standby database. So we are duplicating the target database for standby from active database. So using compressed backup, so you don't overload your network, but in my case it's the same server, so I don't overload the network. And then we're mentioning that do recover, and so these are the values to convert. So in case if our any of the parameters are GG-SRC04T in them, it will be converted to GG-SRC04T SPT1. So DB name, DB unique name, false server. So all that you guys know about it already. Let me just quickly check what parameters are there at GGSRC value in the primary. Let me verify what all parameters are having the source database name in the primary init param. So we have all these are ignorable. So audit file test, it will change using the DB parameter conversion value. So this control file path will change. So we need to ensure the path for SB1 exists. DB name will change. This will change. This will also change. This will change. Yeah, local listener, I told you, right? Why we need this parameter, you see? This parameter is set, so you need to change it. Alright, I need to do only one thing. I need to create this path. So I'm creating this before we start the next step. Why did we miss this? Audit file test, and this parameter needs to be created. Oh my god, I missed this step, guys. How did I miss this? Okay, fine. I somehow missed it. So we need to have this audit file destination also created. If I do this in the standby site, it doesn't exist. Alright, it exists now. In control file, alright, so I'm asking this to be created under control file because I'm going to enable OMF for the restoration, but still if it is OMF, it will create on its own. If it is not OMF, we already created the path, so it should work okay. Fine, let's give it a try. So let me just quickly check if did we miss any other step. So this is done now. So we didn't have it, now we have it. So we have this path as well, but nothing inside this path. But I don't think I need any, so I left it like this. Alright, so and 10 is done, 11 is done, 12 is done as well. Now 13 is prepared. We're going to shoot for the 14th step. Let me pass here. Okay, I prepared the shell script, guys. I gave execute permission. The shell script has whatever I have given here, and I'm going to launch it now, this shell script. Let's see how it works. Okay, I framed my shell script, but I just made one change to the command file, which I wanted to show you. If you notice here, I introduced these two parameters, db file name convert and log file name convert. The reason I did it, because I'm doing it in the same server, and part of my files are using common file path. When the database is getting created in DBCA, you have two choices: use a common location or use OMF. So initially when I created it, I created with a common file path, so I was just worried it may overwrite my previous file because I'm using no file name check. So it may overwrite my previous database file, so I don't want to do that. So instead I gave this oratab ggsh040 with ggsh040 sb1. So they will replace the files properly. So let me just check if this file path exists. They do, and the original file path they also do. So it's better to do that way. Let's fire the command. So the know-how command is ready. I'm launching it. It's running, which is a good sign. Let me just check the log here. Alright, the restore is happening. Alright, so let me show you. It's doing the restore now. The duplicate is running actually. I'll just show you from the top. So it connected to the target database, which is ggsh040, and it connected to the auxiliary, which is ggsh040 again, but the unique names are different. Right, this is our command, and we allocated the channels, so it's running the script from memory, and you can see it's restoring a new SP file with all the parameters we made or changes we made. And yeah, if you can see here, it is setting the path using the common file path. It's not using the OMF format, though I have introduced that parameter at a later stage. Oracle doesn't understand that well. So this parameter, this is a file path, is unlike a parameter value. Yeah, it's yeah, control file is a parameter though, so it will replace it fine. That's okay. So control files are at least accept that they are coming in from param file conversion value, and yeah, others have been changed fine. So these two parameters are here as well. Now let's look forward. Yeah, those parameters are set again, and the data file control files are restored. At least they are getting restored in the new location. So it mounted the DB, and now you can see here, because we set the log file and data file name convert in the last moment, right? You see here the file names are set to these values, otherwise it could have overwritten those files. So they are getting restored now as we speak. The restore is happening. It's done as well, and it's done without any error. That's the reason. That's a good shine. You see, it's done. Not done with some value in the beginning, in some return code. Right, let's see. Right, we were here, isn't it? Yeah, set new name, and yeah, it was here. Now restore finished. Alright, it's archive logging the current one. Okay, it's recovering until 590545. copy, I switch to the database copy, recovered until some SCN number, and that's also finished. Yeah. Let's look how our standby database looks now. Let's first verify if our primary is still alive. Ah, good. Both primary and standby both are alive. Let me take a look. We take a look at the primary's alert log. All of them are created to our interesting nature. There is one online Redolog, guys, which is not created by me, it's created by Oracle. That's a good sign. So any new files we add, it will follow the YAML format. That's the thing I learned from this with you guys. But the ones which are already existing, common file name convention, the file name convert only really helped. Otherwise, I would have lost my source as well. So let me see if anything happened to this. What time it is? 21:21. Okay. All right. These are errors coming because we really do not have standby database alive yet. So fine. All these are okay. It couldn't connect because standby does not really exist. Now it should work okay. Now let me connect to the standby. And by the side we will also have, let's first verify the primary, guys. I don't want to have my primary in a limbo state. So the primary looks in rewrite mode. How is my data files looking? Alright, they are also looking fine. How is my primary? Yep, all looking good. Let me see. How is my standby looking? Mounted. Online and system. Yeah, online. It's looking good. So we can enable the recovery now. So let me check before we initiate the recovery. Let's check the status of the recovery. Okay, if the standby the duplicate command by itself, because we told it is a standby, right? So has duplicate did anything to the recovery part? Let's see if MRP is running already. MRP is not there, so now we are going to initiate it. Okay, it's initiated. I guess firewall is alive. I need to stop probably that. Let me just do that. Alright, it's working. Let me just check. How is our standby database looking, and we will make a couple of switches in the primary and we'll see if they are flying over to the standby. We are not using log, we are not using Redolog for the recovery. When I say we are not using current log file, we are using RK logs for recovery, so you will not see anything being used here. So the only way we will find it is from this MRP. So now let me check. until what sequence we have got the arclog applied. Available, okay. Yes, applied and in memory. Fine. Let's switch the arclog here. It's 21 only. And let's see how it reflects in the other server. So in memory became 22, and you can put your recovery to use current log file. In that case, it will be much faster and the lag will be 0 seconds nearly. So it moved on to the next one. So this is looking very clean setup, guys. Let me just check this one. I can see the recovery moving forward. We don't have any issues. Okay, further health check, validation, everything I'll make it as a separate video because I think it's already a pretty lengthy video. And also data broker setup, everything I'll show you as a second part. So hope you like this video. If you like, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to How to LN channel and look out for new videos. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining with me until now. Bye.